Hello again. Thanks for tuning in. If you have psychic abilities that you're looking to develop, or maybe you've just experienced a few things and you're not really sure how to control it or how it happens or how to make it happen more often, hopefully I can share with you a little bit about what I do and how it works for me to help you grasp what's going on with you and how to develop your abilities a little further. So thanks for tuning in. So right up front, before we dive in, I got to ask you, why are you wanting to develop your psychic abilities? If you're going online and you're looking at these videos and you're trying to research how to make it happen more often or how to get a better understanding of it, just take a moment and pause, because the reason behind this can affect your outcomes. Is it because you don't like life? You have to ask yourself this. Is it something in you that says, I don't like physical reality, I don't like being here on planet Earth, and I'm interested in going off into the deeper answers of the universe. The stuff that's going on in life seems to be uninteresting or challenging in a way that I just want to push out away from this dimension and go off into other dimensions. If there's even just a touch of that, it can influence this in a bad way. It can obstruct you from developing further, and you can reach roadblocks. But the thing is, you have to be able to use that psychic information for some good, you know? It has to have a positive influence on either you or the person you're giving the message to. Otherwise, it can really take you out of your reality. So with that said, everybody does have an ability. Some people ask me, can anyone learn this? And I think, well, everybody's kind of innately coming from the place where psychic communication exists. You know, when you leave the physical form, when you die, and even like before you were born and you're this eternal soul, energy is all communicated. It is known, it is felt. That ability to communicate is still deeply seated in your soul right now. So everybody still has that, but it's about how your mind is taking over during this journey of being a human and how you're locked into the physical world around you that will either inhibit or promote your ability to get psychic information. So can anybody be taught to be psychic? Can anyone pick up this ability? I think yes. You know, it's like playing the piano. Anybody can be taught to play the piano, but just like that metaphor, there are certain people that can just sit down and they have a knack for it, right? The difference is, unlike learning to play the piano, where you just have to learn to hit the chords right and you got to practice your finger work on the keys, what you're actually practicing and opening yourself up psychically is you have to allow yourself to relax into a very spacey place where the information that you're getting doesn't have to be tangible to be important, that you can let your imagination become important, right? Because there are certain things that might come to you that are strong, certain things that are weak, but maybe all of them are worth saying. So in a development circle where you're sitting with people and you're practicing this ability, a lot of times a student will think, I don't want to be wrong, or does this make sense? They'll pause after they get one thing. I feel like there's a father figure here. Is your father passed? No, my father's living. Oh, and then they'll just abandon the whole track, you know? Maybe it was their father-in-law, you know? Maybe it was the uncle that they lived with for 3 years over the course of their teens, you know, and there was like a father figure. You don't know. You just have to follow it through. But this is a key. You have to allow yourself to just get the stuff. Just make it important enough to say. You don't have to be right or wrong, you know? When people get information and they want to pass it along to somebody, 9 times out of 10 they'll say, I'm worried of what they might think of me, or what if I'm wrong, or what if it doesn't make sense? You know, opening yourself up to the psychic channel is all about allowing the information that's coming to you to come to you. Don't grasp onto it like, does this have to be right, or have some sort of conscious activity. That's why I say it's like practicing the piano. It's like practicing this new personality, right? You have to allow yourself to unplug from physical reality, and even in your conscious mind, the conscious thinking of repercussions or right and wrong. You have to be able to train yourself to feel that it's important to allow yourself to go into a daydream where you're just disconnected. That's where your soul is going to light up and your imagination's very fertile, and that is the way you get psychic information. But I'm here to tell you that you also should be tapping into the way you feel about that. I got this vision of a pickup truck parked outside of a shed and there was two guys getting out of it. You know what the important part is to say? I feel like those two guys were in a different generation. Is it father and son? Is it? So now, well, what's the pickup truck look like? What's the shed look like? I don't think that's important. What's important is it was two guys that felt related, so you can unpack that vision by how you feel about it. So tapping into that feeling is really good, but allowing yourself room to feel what's important is also kind of important, right? You have to give yourself that space instead of looking for validation and verification. When you're trying to talk to somebody, if you're doing a reading, you want to make sure it's right. You want to make sure they know what you're talking about. Stop doing that and just allow yourself to practice how you feel about the information that you're getting, right? So other ways to get into this feeling place and let your imagination run wild and create this deep neural connection to your psychic self is a thing called flame billets. I just did this one last night with a group, and let's hope you don't burn the house down, but all it comes down to is you get like a nice thick stock index card, and you get a candle, and you just run the card over the candle. You'll see that the smoke is kind of coming onto the card. You don't want to go too close and burn the card. You don't want to go too far away and not create any smoke. But what you're doing is creating a little pattern of smoke that's very randomized, And you can even hold on to the blank index card before doing this and think up, I want to get a message, or this message is for me, or this message is for my friend here, or this is opening you up to the universe creating a pattern, And then you turn it over and you look at the patterns of smoke, and you can flip it, either way you want. And you're trying to use your imagination, like looking at a cloud shape and seeing a dog. You're trying to see something pop out. And as you're looking at it, maybe you sort of see like a mother with a pregnant belly, but then you're like, nah, that's not really there. But then why did you think that? And so maybe there's something about nurturing or mothering that you're supposed to tell this person, right? And there's something to be said about trying to open up psychically by yourself versus with a friend or in a meditation group with a group of friends. When you get people together like that, I kind of think more unique and surprising results can occur than when you're just sitting by yourself, I've tried the test of just getting a pack of playing cards, cracking open a new deck, pulling out 4 kings, putting them down face down, and saying, which one's the king of hearts, And you can put your hand over it and try to feel it. And I'm really no good at this, But I've seen other people in a group setting, trying it again. Each person gets a turn, and they'll be, wow, I found it. Wow, that's amazing. There's just an energy that's present when there's more people present, it creates a bigger psychic energy. Try to form your own group, you have to find safe people to open this up with. It could just be a friend of yours or a group of friends, but I would suggest trying it in a group, and then don't judge yourself if you're wrong. Everybody has an ability, but some people are just different. Some people can smell cigarette smoke when there's someone in spirit there. Some people are good at feeling things and reading objects and pictures. All of this stuff is worth trying. You don't know which way you work, I also make it a habit to tell people who are trying to open up psychically to be mindful of what you're thinking at certain times of the day, like when you're drifting off to sleep at night, or when you're up in the morning and you're taking a shower and you're standing there and your mind's drifting. Those are times where just be mindful of the landscape of your thinking, that if you're like, oh, I was just thinking of my grandmom, I don't know why I was thinking of her. Or maybe you're like, I'm thinking it's time to maybe leave this job eventually. Maybe I should talk to the boss about like trying to get a different position. Who's putting those thoughts in your head at those times, when you're super stressed out and you're wakeful and you're like, I need psychic information right now. I know I need to quit that job. I know that maybe that's not so psychic, but when you're like taking a shower and you're like, I think maybe it's time. I should feel good about that. I'm going to be inspired by the next thing. Hey, that's psychic information. If you make that important and keep that in your mind, that this is important stuff, next thing you know, you're starting to get other things for other people. So thanks for watching. I hope this was somewhat of a help. It's kind of an individual thing, opening up psychically. Everybody's personality has a different kind of angle, so it's like really different stepping to that piano to learn, right? Everybody's deprogramming and creating those like new pathways in their heads slightly different ways. So it is kind of unique to each individual. This was more of like a blanket generic statement for everyone. But if you have specific individual questions, just reach out to me, email me. All the info's on my website. Check it out. It's scotedwardhenry.com. Scott with one T. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next week. So take a psychic shower. Whoa. Send me pics. Don't do that.